everybody. I think we get internet from day one. Ooh, I do need to. Oh, Lord have mercy, I don't have the sound set up right. Anyway, y'all, we are coming to you live from the finals of the Doghouse $100 budget commander tournament. The players we have in the finals are Chris, Favorite Duke, Verez, and Brightest. Hell, fuck you. Thank you, though. Who are on Psy Master Thopterus, Puntlaza Sun Favored, and quite possibly the silliest and or goofiest deck I have seen in my whole life. We've also got Bright, one of our judges, who took this tournament off from judging to participate as a player on Prime Speaker Vanifar. And then we have Verez on Budget Godo, which is still just fucking Godo. Now, everybody involved with this tournament has told me to watch out for this Pantlaza deck because I will shit my pants about it, is what they told me. Erudite, thank you for the follow. We're not officially getting into the game yet. I have given all of these lists a cursory glance, and I'm going to tell you guys something. This Pantlaza deck, 95 lands. 95 lands in this deck. You'll see what the other 4 cards are, but this shit is absolutely ridiculous. And it has made it to the top 4. We are, in fact, another idiosyncratic thing about our tournaments is that we are playing first to 2. I personally find the volatility of any given commander game to be so ridiculous that to get to top 4 and then say the best player is whoever wins first, it's silly. It makes no goddamn sense. So what we're doing is whoever wins twice wins the whole thing, which means we can have a maximum of 5 games. I am expecting that what will happen is whoever wins the first game will get bullied into the sun on the second game. And then, after the second game, when we have 2 players with 1 win each, I am anticipating it will be so difficult to hold a player down that it'll get back to relatively even gaming. So I'm expecting this to finish in 3 or 4 rounds. It would be very strange for this to be 5. It is a potential 5 Biomushi. I am just personally doubtful that it will make it all the way to 5. I think it'll make it to honestly, it could make it just to 3. We have, as we are doing a lot of as we're doing budget, what's happened the most is we have a lot of combos and a lot less interaction and card advantage engines. Test Lab, thank you for the Twitch follow and thank you for participating in the tournament, my friend. Drew Jones, you as well, thank you for the follow. You're one of our judges, so thank you for judging the tournament. Biomushy, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Welcome back to Dog Heaven. Yeah, Keldon, your knife is looking shattered as fuck. Interaction card advantage was your deck, but you didn't know how to win. That is too bad. It's silly that Godo made it. For anybody that doesn't know, Godo is you win for having 11 mana. You take Godo and you take Helm of the Host, and if you put it on Godo, you get infinite combats and infinite Godos that you can just chuck at your opponents. Alright, so it's looking like Chris is going first. Oh, Favorite Duke is going first. So let's see if this works. That's the wrong player. There we go. So I've set up overlays that can zoom us in onto each player. So this is Favorite Duke, who I believe is going to begin the game. They're still settling their hands. This deck is so goddamn silly. If they are smart, they will stomp on Bright's neck first round, then focus the winner of the first round. I mean, all of these decks are pretty aggressively combo. So I feel like game one, it just makes sense to, we're all going to try and turbo. Whoever gets there, and then we just hit them on the next round. Let me see this fucking, let me pull this off. Okay, shuffle your library, yada 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 yada. Oh, what? Oh my god! I want this deck to win. I want this deck to fucking win. This is amazing. I just read through the actual deck list. This shit is amazing. Sean, so this is budget CEDH basically. We told all the players you have a $100 budget minus your basic lands. So your basic lands don't count for 25 cents, they count for 0. Non-basics do count for money. So you have $100 to work with, and then you make the strongest deck possible under those conditions. Brightest went down to fucking 4 cards in hand, which is a little bit crazy to me. So we've got mostly land for turns happening. Oh, except this guy's a fucking... Oh, turn 1 Soul Ring? It is goddamn over. Even in CEDH, turn 1 Soul Ring remains the strongest thing you can do. Then we have Resident Coper and Seether, who is just land passed. So the Psy player and Duke both got to keep their starting 7. I mean, I know why the Duke player doesn't, why the Pentlaza player doesn't give a fuck about what was in their starting hand. But we'll see if he, I mean, his only, so this guy is land passing. Well, this them, I don't actually know their pronouns. This motherfucker is land passing for 5 turns. I just want us all to keep that in the pocket. The Pentlaza player, nothing is happening till turn 5. They're just hoping nobody gets them. Pete, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the Dog Home, and God bless you for your work as TO. Oh Jesus, and he has Treasonous Ogre. He may just fucking win here. I think if he can pay enough life, he can just win the game here. Bright is coming in with a counterspell though to stop the Treasonous Ogre. Thank the Lord. Alright, so Treasonous Ogre is going in the bin because that would in fact end the game. Because they would pay just so much mana, they would cast Godo, get Helm, equip Helm, win. Stellar Rain, thank you for the Twitch sub. Welcome back. Welcome to the Dog Home, my friend. Oh, that is phenomenal. Bright is now down to 1 card in hand. Land, gotta be pass. Like, what the fuck else could you be doing with one piece of cardboard in your little grippers? Alright, Christoph is dropping the ominous second island. We have 4 untap islands on this playing field right now, which means nobody gets to do a single fun thing. Alright, we go back to Pentlaza, who is understandably just land passing. Oh, they cast Pentlaza. Oh, they had Crystal Vein, so they sacked all their lands to just go for it on this turn. And they are now cascading. Did they hit the thing already? He's doing the thing. You guys? Oh, I see. Oh, we have a counterspell. We have a counterspell coming in for the Pentlaza off of Christorf's board. Christorf sparing everybody. So now the Pentlaza did not resolve, Araya. And now we're back to the Godo player. They tried, but now the Pentlaza player has 1 fucking land in play. Alright, the Godo player is playing a Goad enchantment. Each opponent must attack you or a planeswalker you control with at least 1 creature. At the beginning of end step, make a treasure. So they're once again, they're saving up, right? They have a 401k. They've got a plan. If they just wait long enough, they're going to cast Godo, and then they're going to fucking win. Let's see if Bright can start doing anything. Vannifar can't come down till 4 mana. He missed a fucking land drop. That's horrifying. Very interesting ramp. All right. 3, I mean, this is mono blue artifacts, so they could honestly explode at any fucking time. To remind everyone the state of the game, this is what we've got going on. We have 2 players that are down on lands, one of whom did it on purpose, and one of whom just had to mull to 4 and then got boned. It looks like Chris is spending a little bit more time considering this turn, or maybe they're just vamping like I am. Either way, I'm sad that the Panthlaza's first attempt got stuffed. I really hope you guys get a chance to see. If we don't get to see it live, I will break down the deck on this stream, and I will probably make a video about it because it is just so fucking silly. And Chris is just passing with 3 ominously open blue mana. Okay, another tap land that will sack for additional mana later. So he's just gearing up for another Panthlaza play. Hey, Yulveric, you said it, man. You said it, not me. Let's see what the Godo player is doing. So they're on 6 mana available. They could try to resolve Godo right now, or they could wait. They could wait until they have the mana to do everything, but I think that's 15 mana. Because you need 5 for Helm, 4 to equip it, 6 for Godo. No legs, I know, I've got your back, dog. This is for you. Alright, they're tapping the Soul Ring, so we're getting a little bit of mana going. Oh, another mana rock. So it does look like... Oh, Godo puts it to field. Okay, so it is 10. It's 10, win the game outright. So it does look like Varez is just hoping to get count to 10, win the game. Honestly, working harder than most green players I know. So I still admire it. Dubsy, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home. And thank you for TOing as well. Everybody in chat, give it up for Norway Pete and Big Dubsy, our TOs. And give it up for yet another fucking mana rock. It's 11. Oh, is it 5 to equip? I thought Helm was 4 to equip. Oh, it's 4 to cast, 5 to equip. I had them flipped around in my head. And we're back to fucking no cards in hand Bright. We should also get another round of applause for our judges, including Hell, Dovahking, Miracle, and some other people that I'm forgetting because we have action happening. Bright once again had to cope, seize, miss land drop, and pass. And Chris played Urza's Battlethopter on his end step, which is, honestly, this is kind of a bullshit card. It's very fun, but boy is it good. We've got a Thought Vessel, so that's going to immediately grow the Battlethopter. No legs Bright. Bright had to mull down to 4 at the beginning of the game, and he had to counterspell a win attempt from Varez. And so for that counterspell, they had to discard an island. And so they've just been kind of getting bonered over it. Chris did send that Battlethopter into Varez, so Varez is now down to 38, and we're back to the Panthlaza player's turn. He now has to count to 7 to go for his next win attempt. And now we're going to see if Varez can work it out. I am going to scoot this a little bit so we can see. Oh, we still can't see the names? Fuck it. So we have a lot of mana tapped right here. This is 1, 3, 5, 6. All right. We're resolving Godo. We are going for the win. No legs. They are, in fact, the Panthlaza player is, in fact, not playing dinos. But we're going to see if this Godo resolves because that should just end the game. They have the mana to equip Helm of the Host should they get it out. So if Chris doesn't have, and it looks like Godo's resolving, which looks like it should be the end of game 1. which means our 3 other players will spend 5 minutes colluding on how best to take Varys' kneecaps before the next game. Alright, they're tapping for the equip, and this is the pivotal moment where if people do not have a response here, and Chris is tapping mana! Alright, they are reality shifting the Godo, which should take it away. However, it does mean they have Helm of the Host out. And so if Godo gets recast, it will be available for use again. So we're probably looking for either Bright or Christoph to draw some type of artifact removal to take Helm of the Host out of play. He still needs a shitload of mana. Godo is now going to cost 8 mana, and it's still 5 to equip. So he needs 13 to win the game from here. Trove of Temptation is definitely going to do some work for him because it's basically an extra land drop a turn. So he has a good chance of making it, provided that Duke doesn't get any extra sources of mana like these sacrifice lands. And now we're back to no lands Bright, who now 4 cards in hand and immediately fucking passed again. Everybody pour one out for fucking Bright, because this is this kind of rough for our boy. All right, they're untapping. They are, looks like they're swinging the Battle Thopter into Varys again. Now, remember, he does have the Trove of Temptation, so they are contractually obligated to punch Varys. And then they are Raven forming the Helm of the Host. So that will be very tough for the Godo player. The deck has other ways to win the game, but Helm of the Host is its most straightforward one. And now Varys is going to be kind of locked into this like unfortunate Voltron situation. Let's see how high the Pentlaza player can count. Fungal Reaches. This is... Okay, this is another land that can tap for more than 1 mana if he puts a little effort into it. And now we're back to the sad Godo player. I mean, this is what happens when you pop off first. Is everybody just fucking gets you, man. And then you don't get to play Magic the Gathering anymore. And that's kind of by design in this tournament. But it's happening early. I expected somebody would win the game before this happened to them. Oh, second, true, yes. The Pentlaza player did try to pop off before the Godo player. Don't pop off, period. Alright, they still have Godo mana. And so they have Godo, and then they have 4 more. So they're probably looking for a protection equipment for Godo, and then they're just going to try to do like budget Voltron beatdown bullshit, which I respect. Let's see what they went for. The Argentum Armor. Whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy a permanent. Probably going to blow out. I would imagine they blow out at least one of Duke's lands if this gets through. Going for something that doesn't give hexproof or indestructible is interesting to me. I would have assumed that they would have gone for something with protection. Now that said, they don't really have a way to flicker Godo, and so going for just hexproof does just give you a sort of immortal 3/3 that doesn't do anything else. Goblin, you raise a good point that protection is also very expensive. And all the players are limited to $100 for their deck outside of the basic lands. So Argentum Armor may just not cost very much because it's not that good. But on Godo, you can blow up 2 permanents a turn, which in a game like Comp Commander, you can really roll into. Blowing up 2 lands a turn is enough to sort of choke out everybody else. And he is playing just all of the worst mana rocks ever printed. God bless him for it, though. This is the most honest, dishonest Magic I've ever seen. And Varys is now getting his get back on Christoph, who is going to take the 2 and go down to 38. we've seen a lot of these games end at really high life totals because basically everybody is on some type of combo. Even Godo, who's Jesus, he missed another land drop. All right, everybody in chat, pray for Brightest. We're gonna hold a candle after this stream. We're holding a candlelight vigil for Brightest and his 2 fucking islands. That is horrifying. We're going to Chris. Thank you for the F's in chat. We will pass it on to Brightest after this game. Sai is coming out for Chris. So this is whenever you cast an artifact, you make more artifacts. And he's playing Emery, who, if you have not had the misfortune of playing against this card, it's about to get shitty. So he's going to mill. He can play artifacts from his graveyard. He is probably getting the Lightning Greaves. Vidalcan Orrery is also... Oh, the Humiliator. Oh, Jesus. And Welding Jar. Okay. Callus Cube, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Doghouse. He's sending his contractually obligated Liberator into Varez. Varez down to 34. Calling it now from extrapolation. Brightest hits their land drop and pops the fuck off. I believe. Who on earth am I going to? All right, we're going to the Pantalaza player. I know the template's getting fucked up. It's just this is the nature of Cockatrice. As a reminder of the general board states, this is where we are at. All right, the Pantalaza player doesn't want to go for it yet. So we've got the Godo player on a lot of shit. He can equip Argentum Armor here. It's gonna be a little rude. At least one of these permanent blow-ups has to go for a Land of Dukes, because Duke I believe Duke wins the game should Pantalaza resolve. Well, and should Pantalaza's Discover triggers resolve. There's a shitload of mana. Bright is, yes, knowing Bright, that brother is for sure holding on to interaction with those 2 open mana. I just can't believe that if he had a 3rd land, like maybe he has Daze, which can be used to bounce something for pitching an island, but that's Daze, you bounce an island to your hand. I'm not even quoting that card correctly at all. Like, I don't know what could be in these 5 cards that requires he not play lands. Okay, we have 3 mana tapping. Oh, we have 6. So this is the Argentum Armor equip, and we'll see if the rest of the table has anything to say about it. Yeah, Arya, yeah. Alright, so we've got combat. It looks like the Argentum Armor did resolve. So this is now a 9/9 commander that gets to attack twice a turn and is going to blow up a permanent every time he attacks. Which is, frankly, fucking horrifying. And he's sending it at Chris, once again, to get his get back. And we'll see what he targets as his destruction trigger. I think he blew up a land. I think this rat bastard blew up the untapped island. I love it. I absolutely love that move. And it looks like Chris is taking some time to decide how they want to block here. You need to be blocking. All right, he's blocking with Sai, which is kind of... I don't know why you wouldn't block with the Thopter, to be TBH, but that's why I'm not in the finals of this tournament, and I'm just fucking vamping about the finals. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, he popped Sai. Okay. So I misread the board state there. Sai was destroyed by the Argentum Armor trigger, And Christoph is now just taking the 9. Which is tough. You know, that's not a place you want to be. This is exactly where Veras wants to be. He is swinging it again at Chris. Obviously, so Bright may in fact be small beaning his way to victory. Everyone who said he was bluffing, that he was dogging it out, getting it out the mud, whatever, Bright may have tanked himself to try to get a come from behind victory. And the Argentum armor target is going to the runes of Trocaire to slow down the Pentlaza. In response, Duke is using it to put a storage counter on his fungal reaches. And this time, Chris did block it. So as a reminder of the whole board, this is the current situation. Veras has vomited a whole lot of stuff onto the field. Favorite Duke is hoping and praying that he will one day cast Pentlaza. Bright has 5 cards in hand, but only 2 lands. And Chris has had a relatively normal game, but is now getting punished by the Godo player. And Talamar, yes, the board states in Cockatrice get so spread out that I tried to set up ways to do little zoom-ins on each player's board. He got the 3rd land, Trophy Mage. He's getting an artifact. They got 1,000-Year Elixir to activate things with haste. So that means if a forest comes down, the Vannifar pop-off could happen. All right, and then we have this Godo token tracking Chris's commander damage. But thank God. Thank God that he got the that 3rd land. Godo is for sure a problem. Bright and Duke are both very close to win attempts. Maybe not very close. Duke still needs like 2 more turns before he can really try anything. The Liberator is going back in at Veras for another 2 damage. This is again this is contractually obligated by Trove of Temptation. He does have to swing this in. Bright needs 2 more mana. Okay. Hey, you and me both, Yulvrik. I really want to see this Pentlaza deck go off at least once. We have the potential for 5 total games. So he's laying down a Mercadian Bazaar, another storage counter land. So he may be able to try next turn. Let's see what's going on with the Godo player. Honestly, Veras will probably just keep blowing up 1 land a turn. Like, if Veras blows up Fungal Reaches, Duke is pretty cooked. Anubion, we are getting to see Godo go smash into face. Yeah, Pentlaza is, unless somebody else out of the kindness of their heart removes that Argentum armor, Duke is pretty gooned. Because Argentum armor is just so powerful at keeping the board down. It's crazy that Veras doesn't give a shit about tapping down Magnifying Glass to investigate. It's literally just here as Godo insurance. Immediately to combat, immediately to Christorf. Let's see where these triggers are going. Blowing up Liberator. That's reasonable. This is giving all of his colorless and artifact spells flash, which is not a thing you want to give anybody ever, but especially not a blue player. And it looks like they're using Welding Jar to protect the Liberator, or well, Emery to cast the Welding Jar at instant speed and then sacrificing the Welding Jar to protect the Liberator. Dova, I believe that the second combat we get this turn, Godo will pop Fungal Reaches, and then that will keep the Pentlaza player out of the game. Unless he's feeling really charitable. Unless he's feeling super charitable. Because this is 2 mana, 3, 4, 0 this turn, 5. So he's still 2 turns away from being able to Pentlaza. Or I guess 1 turn, because he could put a storage counter on Reaches and then play an untapped land next turn. And then we're going to see swinging it right back at Chris. So it does look like Varys is mostly concerned about Chris popping off. If I were him, I'd blow up Fungal Reaches here for sure. And he's blowing up the Liberator again. We're going to get an Ornithopter of Paradise flashed in. One last piece of utility and a Skull Clamp. A little bit of efficiency before the flash is gone forever. I am honestly shocked that Varys doesn't consider Bright and Duke to be more threatening. That said, I haven't played against Chris, and maybe he has, so maybe Varys knows how quickly Chris is going to pop off, whereas I don't necessarily know. Yolveric, it is in fact, it's 95 lands in this Pentlaza deck. Alright, we're in Varys' end step now. He's tapping a little bit more mana. This is one of the lists I did not investigate in depth. It looks like he's using Magnifying Glass just to get a clue to refill his hand, since he has done the Voltron player thing of sort of vomiting everything out. I've seen Chris go from an empty board to 20 plus Thopters in a single turn. Then that makes sense to me. He's probably done the math and identified, okay, Bright and Duke both need one more turn of setup before they can try to win the game. Chris has the setup to try to get an uncounterable board state in one more turn. Alright, he's making a clue, he's making a treasure, and now we are getting some Bright gameplay. 6 cards in hand. Does he have it? He is just swinging his Trophy Mage at Varys, as he is forced to do from the Trove of Temptation. Varys is letting it through, though. And then we're going to play the 1,000-Year Elixir. So, if a Forest and Vannifar resolve next turn, it could just be over. I think it will be. Alright, we're at 18 commander damage for Christoph. We're at 18. 18 out of 21. Not a lot left. Chris does have the Skull Clamp, which he can put onto whoever he wants to have as the blocker for this Godo. And then, because now Varys, if he wants to win, the Godo player pretty much has to use Argentum Armor to pop a land or pop one of the things on Bright's board. He probably can't afford to keep kicking Chris in the shins for many more turns. Looks like Emery is going back for an artifact in their graveyard, maybe Welding Jar or Liberator. It is Liberator. So they want to get stuff back at flash speed. 1,000-Year Elixir will not live to Bright's upkeep. I mean, hey, Bean, as you see fit, start throwing predictions for these crazy motherfuckers that want to talk so bravely. We've got pass priority taking a piss. No responses. Bright is leaving it in everyone else's capable hands. All right, Chris is trying to resolve a chief engineer. So this is going to give all of his artifact spells now have Convoke, which is very powerful with Liberator on the field. Ethan Cross, for this tournament, budget is $100 or less. Basic lands don't count. All right, so we have three counters and an untapped land. I think this is Pentlaza mana. That's 3. This is 3, so 6, 7. Pentlaza, he's going for it. Pentlaza's going to come to field. Christorf is tapped out. Brightest is in the fucking... Remember, Brightest in the toilet as this is happening. Here we go, guys. Meme Laza. It's resolving. It's all lands. We have 90 more of these. Okay, long road home. So he's going to get exiled. At the end step, Pentlaza is coming back, and we are going to discover once more. It's here, you guys. All right, we're moving to end step. We are having Pentlaza return. Oh, well, he's targeting now. So there's one more chance for interaction. It looks like that time is over. And we are having Pentlaza come back to the field unless there is a free counter spell ready to go. No Redline, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. You've come at the perfect time. I do believe we've gotten there. There's Barren Glory. But that is not the right mana. Creative Technique, also not the right mana. Oh, wait, no, it is because it's 5 now. So Creative Tech, this is Discover 5, since that's Pentlaza's new toughness. Creative Technique is shuffle your library, reveal cards from the top of it till you reveal a non-land, exile it, and put the rest on the bottom. He is demonstrating it to the Godo player to get 2 copies, which will allow him to get Barren Glory and one more card, which will remove everything but Barren Glory. The Varez is going for Twin Flame here, which is, you know, you'll lose the game with 2 Godos. Damn, I should have turned on manual ads. I am sorry about that, you guys. I have Twitch currently has it auto set up for me. Twitch doesn't want the people to know about Meme Laza. Alright, so we're getting the Creative Technique resolved. I think there's only 2 cards this could be getting. We are currently just going to open up every single land that's in this deck. A-Ray, thank you for the Prime sub. So we've got Pentlaza and Creative Technique up in the corner. We have every land ever coming down the middle. Where is it? Where is it, you guys? How far is he going to have to dig for these 2 fucking cards? Yolfric, the Meme Laza deck will be dropping soon. As soon as this tournament is over, I'm getting the pen, the paper, and I am talking about this bullshit. Yeah, Bright has come back from the bathroom to discover that his butthole is actively being eaten. It just keeps going. Okay, Decree of Annihilation. Remove all artifacts, creatures, lands, graveyard, and hands from the game. So this is going to go onto the stack. And now we're just looking for Barren Glory. Everybody's just going to the bathroom now. Christorf has taken over the past priority taking a piss card. Miracle, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub, and thank you for judging, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. This is fucking hilarious. Ender, yeah, this is $100 budget commander. The Pentlaza combo player has just resolved their Pentlaza combo, which will win via Baron Glory. Because everything is getting removed to Decree of Annihilation. And there is one more instance of creative technique on the stack. The only non-land card it can find is Baron Glory. Which means Duke is taking home win number 1. This is first to 2 wins, so it's not over yet. And there it is, 7th card from the top. So this is by no means settled, since we still have to get to 2 wins. Now every player will have an opportunity to land pass before giving up the game. That is so funny. The overlay is just all fucked up now because of how heinous this board state was. So Baron Glory is going to win the game for favorite Duke. And now we need to see if he can get the run back. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, Dropbox. Fuck off. I'm so glad we got to see that happen at least one time live. Bean, please start a prediction for if Duke will in fact just get the two games in a row. Meme Laza got banned from my local playgroup because of this stuff. It is honestly, Pentlaza, I've had it done to me once on Arena. It is really frustrating because it's so uninteractive. I really love it for bringing it to a competitive event. As far as like a fun casual table, it is just a like 1 card resolve win the game, which is funny once, and then after that it's considerably less funny. But oh my god, so the players now have 5 minutes in between the games to consider what the fuck they want to do. Which means we're on big cough drop hours to keep our voice up. But yeah, here's the deck, you guys. This is the whole fucking thing. So Dark, this is the top 4 of my Discord's $100 budget commander tournament. So this is a like competitive event, but you are limited to $100 excluding basic lands. So your basic lands count for $0. Everything else is TCG player price. And holy fuck. Okay. I've gotten word from our TO that everyone's pronouns are he, hims, just to make sure that I'm not second guessing ourselves. Thank you for that. Achades TV, thank you very much for the Twitch follow. Welcome to Doghouse. Yeah, it is a little tough to make a sub $100 deck. A lot of the, like, everybody had to get a little bit creative. A lot of the core of certain strategies works really well. But it can be a little hard. Brain Chan, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to Doghouse, my friend. Good cards are in fact expensive, TestLab. You got us there for sure. And TestLab, thank you for the drink water redeem. I appreciate you looking out for my health. Were there any budget Zada players? Maybe one of our TOs can speak to that. I am not I don't really know. I don't know the meta breakdown of this tournament so far. No legs. We are gonna have more tier lists like the Doctor Who one. I just need to set up. I just need to set up a sub goal. Um, Life has been uh, whack recently. Lots of good stuff, also lots of bad stuff. So I've kind of been scatterbrained with a lot of my things. But tomorrow we will have a sub goal set up, and that sub goal will be used to tier list something. Probably Fallout, since that's the next universes. Since we have another Universes Beyond thing that has already dropped, and I really like Fallout. Dova, the question was there any budget Zata players in this tournament? Oh, Empyrean was on Zata. At Empyrean, you made it quite far. You were in the top 16. So yeah, we had a Zata player get really do quite a impressive job. There was 2. See this player list. So Bright and Duke are ready. Christorf, Veres, not yet in here. Oh, Exo, you were also on Zata? That is too bad. I was, yeah. Lots of... The thing I loved most about this tournament is that when we talked about the top 16, all of the decks were exciting to everybody. We were like, oh, it would be so funny if any of these decks made it to the fucking Final Four, because so many people brought like really, really funny memes. And for now, we are into game 2. Yeah, Delta, we turned off visible hands to prevent stream sniping. And that's also why we just have me commentating. Somebody more knowledgeable might give something away, whereas I'm just vamping the whole fucking time. And so there is nothing to be gained by listening to me talk about it. It looks like Veres is getting to start. So everyone's going to resolve their mulligans, and then we will get into it with Veres' turn. Let's see if Bright has to mull to 4 again. So for everybody's reminder, Veres won our first game. We're playing first to 2, which means everybody is looking at Veres and going, kick his ass. Like, oh, sorry, Duke won. Veres didn't win. I'm already psyoping. I'm already committing thought crimes. Duke won. Meme Laza won. Right, it was glorious. It was barren and glorious. So everybody is going to be shooting the Pentlaza player in the fucking kneecaps. Really at any point they can this game. Okay, Duke is the one going down to 4, which is kind of interesting. Maybe they're trying to get better storage lands to get out there a little faster, since this player cannot play defensively. Right, it looks like we have land drop. Land drop, so this can sack for 2 mana instead of 1. But that's probably all we're getting. And then it's a pass to Brightest. All creatures have haste. Okay. So this is already a very important setup piece for Brightest, since Vannifar does need haste to win on the turn it comes down. Land pass. Let's see what Duke mulliganed for. Rushwood Grove. Okay, so storage counter lands. So he is trying to just accelerate this Pentlaza win. That does look incorrect to me. I don't think Rushwood comes in with any. Yeah, okay, they fixed it already. Two lands. No Soul Ring this game, which will be crippling for the mono red player. Goblin, I think Duke mold for a more aggressive start because Duke now knows the table is against him. Everybody else wants to kill this guy. And so he needs to mull for lands like Rushwood that are going to allow him, like getting Pentlaza down like one turn sooner could be life or death. Varys has taken his time to consider this play. Because, yeah, there's nothing... Pentlaza actually... I wonder if... We can ask him about this post the games. I wonder if he had combo pieces. Oh, yeah, Erudite, you called it out. He got the cards in his hand. What happens to the Dino player if they draw a combo piece? They probably lose. Alright, so Varys has just played a creature and swung it at Bright with the haste offered to him by Concordant Crossroads. So we've got a mana dork. So we are now one step closer to the Vannifar win. Okay, so they've chosen blue, obviously, as a dirty Simic player. Chris is dropping the Chief Engineer to get Convoke on all their artifacts. So everybody is getting a little bit of a board state going. Duke is definitely going to start putting storage counters on. So this one enters with depletion counters, also taps for 2 mana. He's still missing a red source, but this is 3 mana right here. Vannifar, I think Vannifar can win next turn. If Bright drops a land, and Vannifar is uninterrupted, I do believe he combos out and wins. Alright, we're just going for a mana rock on Varys' turn. Oh, going onto the stack, does somebody have a fucking response to a Worn Power Stone? Doesn't look like it. It makes sense that Bright's just going for turbo because everybody's focused on Duke. Everyone knows the tournament keeps going if Bright wins here. It only ends if Duke wins. So everybody's just staring at the fucking dinosaur player. Except for Varys, who is going to punch Bright in the face again. I'm eating peanut butter. Thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate your support. Now let's see if Bright can lock up this win. The land has come down. He tapped the Concordant Crossroads too, just as a fucking flex. Here comes Vannifar. So now Vannifar is going to tap. This is going to tutor out a 3 mana creature if he sacrifices the Quirion Elves. Bright does deserve this after what happened to him game 1. Quirion Elves are going down. Now this will be an infinite draw combo. King, this is happening on Cockatrice, which is a tabletop simulator that is free to download and has all Magic cards and is free to play. So Bounding Krasis will come in. It will untap Vannifar. Vannifar will then sack it for a 4-mana creature. Bright does, in fact, win here. I think they're going to make him take the long road. Unless Chris... oh, no. None of these are being cast. These are just going to field. So there are very few responses that could exist. And so the Vannifar combo is probably just going to go all the way through. So now he's on mana 5. Peregrine Drake untapping all his lands, not Vannifar, to unearth the Fate Stitcher, once again untapping Vannifar. And is he going? So he's going to 6 now. Getting the Great Oak Guardian, untapping his own creatures and buffing their power. Yeah, and now he's going to go to 7. Killing the Great Oak Guardian. Listen, he's earning it. He's going through Protean Hulk. There it fucking is, you guys. Protean goddamn Hulk. 2 uses of the Fate Stitcher, thanks to the Great Oak Guardian untapping it. So now he's going to get to count to both 8 and tutor whatever the Hulk line is. So total mana value 6 or less is going to come out. So this is 14 mana worth of creatures. Devoted Druid. Always. Hey, any combo deck with green, Devoted Druid belongs there. So we're getting the Spectral Sailor, the Grand Architect, and the Devoted Druid. So he's adding a green mana. Putting a counter on. Fucking up the power toughness 18 times. Getting a second piece of mana on. Oh, and then Pilipala, which I think that was in hand. Which with the Grand Architect. So this is infinite taps and untaps. I don't think this nets mana yet. Oh, no, it does. Add 1 mana. So he now has infinite mana. He has infinite mana. He can draw his library with Spectral Sailor and then kind of do whatever he wants from there. Yeah, the Pilipala combos come down. So Bright should just resolve the win here. Infinite mana the card. And now he's just picking up his whole deck in his hands. There's Lore Weaver. So now it's target player draws 2. He is going to draw out everybody else. I don't think Vannifar even found anything. I think Vannifar is just fail to find. And you just Hulk, you just win the game there. Alright, so now we've got the little Tri-Blade Shuriken hitting everybody with draw your fucking decks and lose the game. So we're now up to Duke, 1 win. Bright, 1 win. Veras and Chris, no wins. Moving into game 3, we'll have a 5-minute break and then pick it back up. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal play from Bright to come back after that first game where he just had to sit there and take it for like 10 minutes. Necron Tier 69, thank you for the Tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome back to the Dog Home for your 2nd month in a row. Fuck yeah, indeed. I love these tournaments. Yeah, Vannifar. The fact that Vannifar got to resolve is criminal. Yolveric, there's always the chance that somebody else starts to sneak it, because now Now we have two players that are kind of in the iron sights for everybody else. And so it could be like Chris could be shooting Bright in the knees, and Bright could be shooting Duke in the knees. And if that's how it goes down, that gets us to... Oh, what the fuck is up with my resolution? That's frustrating. Yeah, Goblin, this is faster than the CEDH because a lot of the really good value engines that let CEDH decks grind forever are way too expensive. Like in a like budgetless CEDH tournament, everyone's dropping like Rhystic Remora, Rhystic Study, Timna Crom, like all of these things that are meta because they let you draw so many cards, so people keep drawing into interaction and people keep having free spells. Like not just the free counter spells, but also like Deadly Rollick, Deflecting Swat, all of that stuff. Is this gonna work now? What is my OBS is not actually flush with how it's displaying. We're gonna move shit a little bit. Oh no, OBS is just not... Okay. Interesting. Well, I'll figure that out another day. Who gives a shit? We have not rolled for turn yet. Vera's has rolled 18, Chris on 2. Vera's likely going first unless somebody can roll very, very well. King, Rilzard, this is called Cockatrice. This is a free-to-download tabletop simulator that has all Magic cards in existence. Oh, Bright got a nat 20 on the die roll. So we are going to Bright for the very first turn. No, Vera's didn't get it. God picked Bright. Now, fun statistical fact for all you folks at home. Going first is so powerful in Commander that I think you have a 35% win rate just for going first. So Bright may in fact sneak the whole tournament here off the back of being able to go first. It happens because when the turn order completes, you get 2 mana when everyone else has 1 mana. You get 3 mana when everyone else has 2 mana. And so on the pivotal turn, when Bright's going to try and combo off, he's effectively 1 mana up on the entire table, which is incredibly important. So if you're Bright, he's probably clicking his goddamn heels that he gets to go first. It is like I think somebody recorded all the stats for a competitive tournament, and they found it was like a 30-something% chance to win if you went first, a like 28% chance if you went second, like a 24% chance if you went third, and you have like an 18% chance to win if you go last. So Veras is in a hugely tough spot because he's playing behind everybody else. Bright's already mulled to 5. We have a lot of mulls going on. Duke mulled down to 4, Vera's mulled down to 6, Chris mulled down to 6, so nobody liked the hand that Yugi gave them. All right, he's got the Joraga Tree Speaker. So if he levels this up, so for 2 mana he can level it up, and then it becomes a mana dork for 2 green, which could be a big fucking deal. Saxman Steph, Duke's deck took a game. He did in fact win 1 game. Trying to fix these overlays just a little bit for you guys. We're already passing back to Bright, who will probably level up the Tree Speaker. That is what's happening. So now this taps for 2 green, which is Swift Foot fucking Boots. Oh boy. Yeah, you know what? Let's check the price. This is actually close to the limit because of all the non-basic lands he's running. So the Pentlaza deck isn't that cheap. It has almost no non-lands, but it is not well under budget. All right, Chris is just past leaving open an island. Pentlaza player, once again coming in with a sort of turbo land. Duke has access to 4 mana. He can go for it in 1 more turn. But so can Brightest. Brightest can win on the next turn. Bright has 4 mana up. He plays 1 land. If he plays 1 land and Vanifar resolves, then Swiftfoot Boots can attach and the game ends. And that's presumably what Christoph is holding these 2 islands out. Saxman Steph, the Pentlaza deck would still work without all these bonus lands. It would not work nearly as well. If you guaranteed have to wait until turn 5 to do any of this stuff, the deck probably doesn't make it to top 4. Okay, we have a Signet coming down. I mean, Varus is never interacting. Now let's see if he can get away with it. Mark is a sweetie. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the doghouse. Dova, yeah, Christoph right now is the only responsible player. These 2 are on 0 interaction. And so Christoph is the only one that can stop Bright from winning, and he's going to have to if Bright drops a land. But Bright is not dropping a land. He is instead dropping Devoted Druid. Oh, he probably wants the combo to start at 3 instead of 2. Right, he probably wants to start counting with Vanifar at or maybe he just doesn't have the land. He either doesn't have the land or he wants the combo to start earlier. Chris has just played... Oh, Chris has hit some graveyard hate, which could be meaningful later on. Now we're going to see if Duke tries to go for it. We have open blue mana on 2 different players. We have open mana on Brightest. We also have open mana on Chris. And so Duke is probably debating, do I try for Pentlaza right here, or do I let Chris and Bright get into a shootout and go for it on my next turn? Duke's going for it. He's sacrificed the Havenwood Battleground. Yeah, he's trying to resolve Pentlaza. No fucking fear. And this would be a tournament win, so he has to know that he's walking into... He's just betting. He is betting that between the 9 cards in hand, they don't have it. And he does have days. Yep. And so that's Pentlaza in the dust. This could be tactical. This could be tactical in the sense of he's making Bright use up his counter, so now Chris can counter Bright. And he may just believe that he will get to a second attempt on Pentlaza. Yeah, they hardcast the days. But it may have been a strategic move of the way priority passes forcing Bright to counter the spell, so that when Bright goes for the combo, Chris can counter him and he won't have the days in hand. On Varus' board, we just have a lot of rocks. This dude is playing Deep Rock Galactic. We will hear from him whenever he counts to 10. He has a creature that is basically a mana rock. He can bounce it to add 3 mana. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's getting there. Yeah, he's not at 10 yet. All right, Bright is tapping 4. Is he going for Vanifar or is he going for something else? Yeah, Dark, everybody is in a Discord voice call that I am not in so that I don't bother them with my vamping. Oh, Vanifar is coming out. Now it's all down to, does Christoph have a response? Vanifar is being targeted with the boots. Chris was bluffing. It would be crazy to bluff in this situation. Oh, but he was bluffing, I guess. This is all coming through. So Bright is going to take the game here unless Christoph has a fucking stifle. Because we're once again, so we're counting to 3. So this is the track that we saw last game of Crisis into the 4 mana thing with Unearth, into the thing that I forgot, into the Ent guy, into Protean Hulk, into that Sailor combo, well, the Pili-Pala combo that we saw win the game. Yeah, sure, Breaching Hippocamp, different 4-drop. Peregrine Drake, right. Oh, he goes for the Shrine Steward. So he's looking for an Aura or Shrine card. Maybe he's going for Instill Energy. So just a 0-cost untap, and then the Shrine Steward will go down. He did have to go for a different line so that Christoph couldn't sack Scavenger Grounds to kill his Unearth thing. Yeah, a stifle on the Hulk trigger is probably the most important thing here. Woodland Bellower, so he's getting to tutor another 3-drop or less. Reality Shift in deck I don't think saves him here because there's nothing that he can... Oh, no, there is... Okay, yeah, he could Reality Shift the End combo, maybe. No, I think it all just activates a million times. Dova, if he tries to Reality Shift Protean Hulk, Vanifar's sack is a cost. So the cost will happen before Reality Shift can go through. So Shift on Hulk won't do anything. He needs to either stifle the Hulk trigger. Mark, if he tries to Reality Shift the Pili-Pala, you can just activate... Oh! Only as a sorcery. Thank you guys for catching me on that. Yeah, Reality Shift Hulk or it's over. Reality Shifting Pili-Pala won't work most likely because I believe that all happens at instant speed. And so if you target Pili-Pala, he will just activate the Pili-Pala infinite mana thing like a million more times on the stack on top of your Reality Shift, and then you don't get it. Talamar, right now, Bright has won a game. Favorite Duke has won a game. Chris and Veras are at 0. And it looks like Bright is going to be taking it home again after he finishes deciding what to tutor for with his Woodland Bellower. He's getting something that is a non-legendary green card with CMC 3 or less onto the field. Oh, with the ability to make it blue on the stack, they could reality shift. Yes, Mark, I believe that would work. Unless he has the spare mana to reactivate it. If he has the spare mana to activate it twice, I don't think that's a sorcery speed ability. But if the combo is like exactly right on mana. Did he screw himself and not put a second Crassus in the deck? I don't know. I mean, he shuffled and he's still looking. I'm not sure if there may be a judge call or something. I'm going to check my Discord. I don't see a judge call. Bright is just still deciding what he wants to grab off of this Woodland Bellower. But so far we have no responses. Yolveric, I'm also very happy that I got to see Meme Laza win a game. I'm really happy that I waited to read what the deck list was, because that shit is hilarious. Judge slow play. Well, I mean, the thing is, we have time limits are off for these games. Personally, I think if you take more than 10 seconds on your turn, you're slow playing. But for the finals, we've told them, take as long as you want. We've locked you guys in the room. So however long... Alright, he's going for the Scrib Ranger. Bounce a forest. So he does have to go down a forest. I don't think he's played land for turn. So this might actually give him access to 1 additional mana and the Vannifar line. And now we're going to go to 7. Oh, he's sacrificing the Scrib Ranger. So he's counting... He's going to 3 again. Okay, got another untapper. Going to 4 again. Take it from the top. Run it all back, you guys. He got to Bellower. He got to Bellower. He was like, hey, we fucked up a little. Run it back. All right, so he's metamorphing. He is metamorphing the Bellower. Okay, I need to click on stuff because I'm going to get logged out for inactivity. Boop, boop, boop. Do it a third time. He's doing victory laps right now, you guys. He just wants... All right, Pestermite. So he's getting... Wait, how is this a non-legendary green card? Oh, I think they noticed. I think they noticed that it wasn't a legal target. Quirion Ranger. And then he needs to play a forest for turn, float the green, untap. He fucked the loop, reset it, fucked the loop, reset it. 2 Woodland Bellowers, please and thank you. This is hilarious. That's my goat right there. Ladies and gentlemen, probably your budget CEDH champion, brightest of all, going for this Vannifar line for the 3rd time this game. How well can I count? Not. All right, corridor monitor. We're getting another Vannifar on tap. Bro's just playing his deck, dude. He wants you all to know how many different ways he could have won. This is what everybody does. This is what everybody does when they're like, yeah, but I could have won if this had happened when they lose a game. He's just doing it when he wins the game. I don't so all right. So let's lock in for a second. There's two things he's trying to do here. He's trying to pull the combo off without using his graveyard because a scavenger grounds is on the field. Personally, I think he's also trying to build a big board state so that if a Protean Hulk gets reality shifted or if a Protean Hulk gets stifled, he still has something that can compete. Because if he goes for a concise win, right? If he goes for the tightest win possible, and Christoph responds, then he's gonna be up against Varez. He's gonna be up against a Godo player who's very close to Godo mana, and he's not gonna have anything on board. And Christoph's board also explodes with Thopters. So joking, like, so it's, I'm memeing when I'm saying that he's doing a victory lap. I think he is trying to execute this multiple times to get a lot of bodies so that if Vannifar is stopped, he still has a way to compete. It also could be that Protean Hulk is in his hand. This is something that we will ask him about in the post-game interviews. How close is the Godo player to casting Godo? Godo is 3 mana off right now. But there's always the potential that he draws a Treasonous Ogre or draws some type of ritual and just gets it the very next turn. But he guaranteed has 7 right now. And Bright's gone for another Vannifar loop. Now getting the Pestermite that was the incorrect target of the second Woodland Bellower. Now Woodland Bellower goes down. And it's got to be grabbing Hulk now, right? I'm not sure if there's another 7-drop that would be worth grabbing. So if he does try to close it here... Oh, he's 1 off? We can't math? Scholar of the Lost Trove. You can cast target instant sorcery or artifact from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. What the hell is he going for? Is he going for Metamorph? Oh, there's a judge pause. Okay, so... Dova, walk us through. So he has 2 net from this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you tell me where he's 1 off, please? I know that he could be like 1 card off, but he needs 10 mana to equip Godo with the thing. Okay, so he's trying to bring... Oh, 11 mana. 11 mana, yeah. So he's 4 off. Alright, so he's trying to bring the Metamorph back in. Darebrand, Godo searches for Helm of the Host, and then if Helm of the Host equips, you get infinite Godos, infinite combats, infinite bacon, no games. I feel like Chris must have a response because otherwise they would just concede, right? Because Chris is... So for reference, Puntlaza is not fucking doing anything. They don't have anything but the combo. Godo's not doing anything. Bright can misplay. Yeah, but he's hit the, like... Oh, yeah, they may just want to see it played out. Phyrexian Metamorph copying fucking Felwar Stone. Oh, Signet. Yeah, that makes more sense. So, Bright just needing the mana to get there, I guess. These are some of the plays of all time. I will be very interested if Bright says, and he passes! Yeah, Hulk has to be trapped in hand. Oh my god, we still have a game, you guys. There's Christoph. Okay, we got a Mind Stone. Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, so for everybody who's confused, what must be happening? So the way Bright wins the game is through a Protean Hulk combo. As best we can tell, Protean Hulk has to be in Bright's hand because he's had multiple chances to find it or to tutor it out with Vanifar and hasn't. So he may try to go for it again on the next turn. He's going to be up to 5 mana, which is not Hulk mana. He needs 7 to cast Hulk. This is hilarious. Yeah, Protean Hulk. He must have drawn Protean Hulk. To my memory, there was an artifact convoke creature on Chris's board. I'm not sure if I'm just... Yeah, the games are just so fast, you guys. Okay, Trove of Temptation is coming down. So this is mono red ramp. This is the mono red ramp card. Varus is going to be getting 1 treasure token a turn, and we'll try to parlay that into going for the combo. So that's land for turn. He's going for something with Vanifar. Alright, killing the Bellower. No, he had Hulk. Why did he wait? He had Hulk in the deck, I guess, because he just tutored it out. And now he's going for the Hulk win. Oh, yeah, now he has Counterspell mana. Yeah. He wanted to have open mana to go for a Counterspell. I think Duke is tapping mana. Oh, he's putting a storage counter on. Alright, so we now have the Grand Architect Pili Pala combo. That should be game, unless there is something very immediate from Christoph. Nope, infinite mana comes down. That's going to lock it up for Bright. Bright is now your budget CEDH champion. Lore Weaver is going to come for everybody's libraries and blast them all into the fucking Shadow Realm. God damn. Alright, stick around for some post-game interviews where we are going to ask people like Bright what the fuck they were doing. It does look like he was holding up the Counterspell mana. That was... When did we start this shit? Like, not even 2 hours ago. We have been live for 88 minutes, you guys. Aoli, we are not playing for ante. We are just playing for bragging rights. Alright, let me set up the window display for us to look at these deck lists while I interview some of the winners. Alright, and then we got to make sure that I have my... There we go. All right. He actually brought it home for everyone, you guys. And then I need to make sure that our audio is set up correctly. All right. This should be correct so we can all hear Bright when they come in. I'm going to pull up Bright's deck list so that we can check it all out. But oh my god. Yeah, Meme Laza is fucking based. I'm really happy. I'm really happy that we got to see at least one win for fucking Decree of Annihilation Baron Glory.
Hello.
What's up, you son of a bitch? First of all, congratulations.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. That last turn, turn 3,
Yeah.
I usually play with one more mana available, and if I have one more mana available, I'm able to get through that. But like without that third land drop, I got fucked just completely.
Yeah, that was the question on basically everybody's mind was, were you stunting or were you actually getting stopped by? So what did you need the one more mana for?
I had okay. So I had in my hand, if I get Peregrine Drake, I'm able to float mana to get up to 5, which allows me to play. It goes through the tutor loop. You're able to find the 3-drop, which would be the Trophy Mage. You're able to play the 1,000-year elixir to then untap Vannifar again. Which then allows me to get Fate Stitcher. So like you're trying to play through that to get through the main line, which is to get Fate Stitcher, which allows you to activate or 1,000-year elixir to play Fate Stitcher to go through that. But I didn't have the mana for it because if I did all of that, if I do all of that, I'm eventually stuck right at the last step. Which can just kill you because I'm able to get all the untaps that I need. But I need 1 blue mana in order to activate Grand Architect. Because if I can't do that, then I do not have infinite mana.
Okay, so you were at the point of you could have gotten the combo to field and then sat there with infinite taps, untaps, no mana, no bacon,
just like my dick in my hands. And
and then you would have gotten blown out. Okay, that makes sense.
So my opponents did not have anything, right? They did not. They had literally no targeted removal. And but if they did, I ran. Do you have the deck list up?
I have your deck list up right here. Yeah.
Okay. So, all of the there's most of the instants are counterspells. The only ones that aren't are Brainstorm. If I've never casted it, but the Brainstorm's in the deck to put things back in my library. If I have them in hand, I need to cheat them out.
Yeah, we were thinking. So the consensus of chat was we were all like, "Oh my God, Protean Hulk is in hand." We did not. I think one person did call the math on. Oh, he's missing 1 mana to activate the Pilipala loop. Everybody else was torn between like, holy shit, he paid for 100 cards, he's using 100 cards, and oh my god, Protean Hulk is in his hand. Can you tell me what crop rotation is meant to grab?
If you look at the lands, you'll see 2 lands, which are actually like 20% of the deck, which is the Hall of the Bandit Lord.
Yeah.
And the
that creature has haste. I can see.
Yeah. So, if I get the crop rotation on turn 1 or turn 2, it can very easily be used to either give Vannifar haste or look for the other untap if I already have haste.
Got it.
It's pretty strong tech in the deck because those are 2 very relevant things to get the combo off as soon as possible. And if you look, like Hall of the Bandit Lord and that, like Hall of the Bandit Lord's $11. Like that is one of the most expensive cards in the whole deck.
Yeah, showing up as 15. Oh, I think I have it set to Card Kingdom. It is.
So as of right now, the deck is like a little over $100, but on submission it was like just under.
Oh right, so you really snuck it in. I can see. Listen, guys, the budget's never too low to afford Pact of Negation. Just so we all.
So just as a thing, I previously had this deck where I also had a Shia Lines. Because a Shia allows you to use Quirion Rangers and Scrib Rangers to like get more untaps because you can return it to your hand. You can float the mana with Quarian Ranger. You return it to your hand. You play it, and then you're able to like get infinite mana, right? The Quarian Ranger. There used to be a Wirewood in the deck as well, but I realized returning elves to my hand is counterintuitive because I want creatures on board to go off.
Yeah, to Vanna farm.
And that implicitly goes like unless I'm using a 1-drop, which I have a couple of, like I have Llanowar, Arbor, Findhorn, etc. I can do it, but generally I'm banking on my 2-drops because I have more of them, and if I ever get to the point where I have that extra mana, the Wirewood is just not worth it. Especially at the price point it was at.
That makes sense. I have one more question for you. How painful was game 1? Because we saw you molt a 4.
So my first hand had Soul Ring. Like it would have been good if I had Forest. So one of the major flaws of this deck is the mana base. In order to put all of the combo pieces plus the protection for them in the deck, I had to sacrifice my mana base. So one, I run a lot of islands in the deck because I have a foil, which you saw. I run a lot of forests in the deck because I run Scrib Ranger and Quarian Ranger, which I need. So there is a reason why I'm running the things that I'm running, but it's bad because I can just definitely get color screwed, which has happened more than once in this tournament. And
yeah, very fine line you have to draw.
The crop rotation does help with that, and most of the 2-drops, not all, but most of the 2-drops, they tap for blue. One of the things I found in this tournament, I would not have run this card if I thought that that's what that was this Incubation Druid. It only taps for the mana of lands you can produce. I thought it just tapped for any color because in basically most games of Magic the Gathering, that's what it does.
You know what? I've fallen for that too. I've fallen for that on Arena many times, where I was always like, yeah, Incubation Druid is just a fucking because so many of the 2-mana dorks are just like, hey, get mana. What color? We're not racist. Don't worry about it. Why are you asking about color? But yeah, Incubation Druid does, if you are already locked, does not get you out of that lock.
No. So the thing with this deck, this deck is very fast and it's very vulnerable. The 2 ways you can build a Vannifar deck in budget. In CEDH, you just build it fast and you run every free counterspell and fast mana to do it on like turn 1 or 2, right? Whatever. But in the budget, you have to make the decision if you're going to build solid but slower or fast and vulnerable. I chose fast and vulnerable because I did some sort of quick math that because everyone else is running at a budget, they will make the decisions to build their decks a bit like either mid-range, which is the thing that I saw, and mid-range has a problem with not necessarily having the answers, but having the answers quickly.
Right, so you're trying to sneak
they're expecting to play. Yeah, so the deck ideally can technically win on turn 2 if you just get the God Hand, right? It can win on turn 2. But I'm aiming for turn 4, and I like it when it happens on turn 3 because that means that collectively the table, assuming that I've gone last, has drawn like 9 cards, right? Assuming they have no other effects, they have drawn 9 cards and they've kept an opening hand, which means that there is 30 cards out there, right, at the table, or 33 including commanders that I have to functionally deal with. And that's why there is a huge amount of 1-mana counterspells, so that 1 extra mana can be used to protect the Vannifar combo. And like sometimes they have it. Like there are games during this tournament that I just like played Vannifar. It just got like spot removal out of the game, and I just sat there doing nothing because to do anything would be king making. But there are other games where I just play it, like the last 2 games that you saw there, where I just play it, and my opponents are like, pass.
Yeah.
And then I get to go off because they just don't have an answer, and that's what I was aiming for.
Yeah, we did also remark on the power of that nat 20 on the die roll for game 3, where you getting to go first seemed, I mean, maybe in the context of the other players simply not having it, but in
the most useful part about that was my opponents being denied extra cards.
Yeah. Right.
one card can make like an entire cycle of cards can make a huge difference for both like their ability to do something, untapping, whatever. But again, I'm trying to minimize the amount of things that my opponents see in their deck, because the more they see, the more likely they are to be to have answers. Because especially if you go later into the tournament, you're gonna find less and less greedy people, and more people who are running removal. But I would like to point out, right? I think I got the perfect matchup in this finals, because the decks that I'm playing against. By the way, I recommend like people look at the deck lists on these, because like it's really important for the specific matchup I have. There was exactly one player at the table who presented any ability to interact with me, and that was Kristoff. We had the Meme Lonnie deck, which ran exactly 5 cards, including its commander, that weren't lands. We had Godo Turbo, which tries to run like a billion mana rocks and like turbo out Godo on turn 3, turn 4 to try to like infinite win the game, and it can do it on turn 2, which is what I stopped. For
but game. None of these people. I was remarking on how Chris was the only adult at the table after game 2, because he was the only one that had cards in library to say, "Hey, Bright, knock that shit off." And I had even. What I had assumed was happening when Duke went for his Pentlaza attempt was, oh, maybe he's trying to use priority to make Bright counterspell to give Chris a free counterspell to Bright so that he can then go for it again.
I actually missed there. I actually misplayed there.
Yeah, because you priority bullying Chris into using...
I could have priority bullied Chris into using the counterspell. Chris just didn't have a counterspell, mind you, but I could have bullied Chris without sacrificing my my counters, or like without sacrificing the game. I wouldn't have thrown the game doing that, because I just counter the fucking
the thing that gets like discovered. Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, that makes sense. All right, so we
because they had no mana and I could have just done it. But yeah.
Well, all right, I'm about to push you out of a window here, but before you go, what game, whether it was in the top 4 or not, because you did say this was a very advantageous, like this was the optimal pod for you, what game had you like tightest butthole over the weekend?
Okay, I have 2, and I will be very quick with them.
Okay.
The first was my like the round 7 of the game. I played a player, Davey, who played the card Solitary Confinement in Azura the Enchanter deck. Solitary Confinement is a card I can't do anything about. If you look at my library, or like my deck, you will see I have actually 0 ways to destroy anything. I have 0. I'm only care about counter spells, because like a lot of non-creatures is the stuff, but I have actually 0 counters, like 0 target removal, which means that if they play that and they're card neutral, I can no longer target them or damage them. Damage is like a way my deck can win, because I do get creatures out pretty fast and I can beat somebody to death. Yeah. But also Shroud. I have Blue Sun Zenith and I have Lore Weaver. Those both target, which means that if that happens, those are both my win cons. I just sit there with my dick in my hand. I can have a billion things out, which I did. I had my whole combo. I had infinite mana every single time. With the second the Solitary Confinement goes, loses, right? But that game ended up as a draw, because I had Blue Sun Zenith, which meant that I would not draw out, and they could theoretically throughout the course of the game, because they had an Enchantress, draw out. And I set out in a draw because it would have went to time, because I played it out. That had tight butthole because it was the last one, and I might not have qualified if I didn't get a draw there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The second game is today's round, like round 1, right? The qualifiers. I also fought against Davey. And this is why I feel gross right now for even being in this position, because I absolutely did not deserve to win that Magic the Gathering game. Because Davey, the Zur the Enchanter player, attacked with Zur, and instead of getting Solitary Confinement, they got an Eidolon of Rhetoric, which unfortunately locked my opponents out of the ability to cast spells to deal with my combo. They did not have the ability to interact with me. It actually helped me more than it hurt anybody else, because the Davey player believed that I needed to cast anything in order to do Vanifar combo, but I already had Vanifar out. I would untap with Vanifar, and if I untap with Vanifar, I just go
Right,
off,
you're just
right?
placing things on the battlefield. You're not actually casting any. Like, you're placing things and you're activating their abilities, but
Yeah.
no spells are happening. And so they were under the impression that Vanifar they must not know, unfamiliar with the line, believed
Yeah.
that you needed some type of wombo combo after you did the Vanifar ladder.
Yes, but it was awkward at the end there, because technically, assuming that if I had Lore Weaver in hand during that game, I would have lost because my opponent definitely had counter magic, and I couldn't protect my own things because I could only cast one spell. So I had to go through another instance of the Vanifar loop to sack a 3-drop to tutor the Lore Weaver out of my library in order to play it. I almost messed up there, because if I cast the Lore Weaver, it gets countered. If I cast Ley Weaver to tutor the Lore Weaver, I can't play the Lore Weaver, and I can't cast Blue Sun Zenith more than once,
Right.
which means that if I pass the Lore Weaver, I target the player with the Eidolon Rhetoric, and then it gets countered, and then I just sit there with my deck in my hands because I can do anything. But I had a weird way around it because Vanifar is, if Vanifar's out and uninteracted with, there's a lot of weird techie things that you can do to try to get around things that your opponents are trying to do. So yeah, the deck is a bit greedy, but I think I'm not the only one. Like, especially at the final four had three like turbo decks.
four non-land spent Laza. Yeah, well, I think Chris was the only person that didn't go for
the only adult mid-range player.
Unstoppable Greed, and even then, it was still a pretty aggressive deck. It just wasn't like Goblin.
Yeah.
Give me the fucking combo. Give me the fucking line.
Yeah. But I think out of all the combo decks that were out, I was the most responsible of the combo decks. By like the slimmest of margins because I ran counter spells.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas like Godo, the Godo's interaction was the fucking plate, the armor.
Argentum armor.
Argentum armor. Yeah. Anyway, I do suggest that you should interview all the players. All of their decks are interesting, and like this entire finale was kind of magnificent in a way because of just how like spiky it was in like who wins the game.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah. To that end, congratulations. We will set you up with a Discord role on top of your judge role. There was not a judge this time.
I'm gonna set myself up with my role.
You're gonna set yourself up.
I get the honor of doing the Obama meme.
Yes, you can. You can pull the Obama meme on yourself. Next, we're going to interview Chris. So, Bright, thank you for playing, and thank you for all of your work as one of our head judges. Have a great day, man. Good job.
Thank you for having me, and congrats to all the people who made it to the finals. Congrats to everybody who made it to the final day, and thank you for playing everybody in this tournament. It was a blast.
Awesome, man. Good shit. All right, we're gonna get Chris in here next to ask him about the experience of being the only fucking adult at this Magic the Gathering table. Chris, how's it going, buddy?
Hello, big man.
Hey, so first and foremost, how did it feel being forced into being the only player with any fucking responsibilities in that Final Four? Because from our view, nobody else had any interaction to stop all of these just insane turbo players that were coming at you.
You say I was the only adult there. I would say I was the manipulator. I gaslit the entire stream into believing I have interaction.
Oh,
I don't.
You don't. We trusted you, man. We were coming around that last turn order, and we were like, and you kept not responding to individual activations, and it just hyped us up more. It just made us be like, holy shit, he has the world's greatest response to whatever this Vanifar line is.
I have the blowout, right?
Yeah, he has the answer.
It's honestly, I'm surprised I made it this far. When I played the first 3 games, I was sure I'm not getting into the top 16 because okay, I'm playing mid-range, I want to beat face, I want to interact with the board, actually win through combat, and Everyone else brought a gun to a gunfight while I have this knife.
Everyone else brought a gun to a gunfight, and you just fucking wrapped up your fists, and you were like, "My karate is unstoppable." I think I did get to see
the power of God and anime on my side.
Yeah, I did get to see a like screen grab from one of your games where it looked like just a million helicopters descending on somebody. So can you say you said you want to win through combat? Is the game plan a million 1-1 thopters, or are there deeper strategies that we didn't get to see? I can see you have stuff like Mech Titan Core in the deck, so it's really just like we want to find either a really big robot or a lot of really small robots and visit destruction upon their homes.
Basically, those are the two game plans. I have bit phase with 1,000 like drones, just drones strike them into the ground. Sometimes I get out like the Mech Titan Core, make the Mech Titan and just beat for 10 each turn. The funniest card I would say is the Antiquities War, because it's a saga. The first two chapters let me just grab an artifact from the top 5, but the third one turns all my artifacts into 5/5s. So it's just,
God.
Hey guys, you have 2 turns. Bring it.
Hey everyone. Wake the fuck up. It's gooning time. So we had a lot of rounds, and then obviously made it through top 16 and got to be in the top 4. Were there any strategies you wanted to play out in this deck that you never got a chance to?
I don't think so. I wanted to play with Urza. He did not show up even once in all the matches. That happens. I did get to make an infinite combo, but it's not the main game plan. It's if I have something that makes an artifact when I cast an artifact, so like my commander or efficient construction, I can use Ashnod's Altar, Mirror Retriever, and Scrap Trawler to make infinite Thopters and infinite mana.
Got it. Infinite Thopters, infinite mana, infinite games, but no bacon. And then presumably that can work out with something like Throne of the God Pharaoh, or you just wait a turn and swing them, because nobody's bringing board wipes to the $100 CEDH tournament.
Basically, but when I make the infinite Thopters, they don't have haste.
Right.
I have a crushing drawbridge, which I need to draw.
Yeah, and then it's Thoptering time. Got it.
And the only other like surprise win I can squeeze out if someone would board wipe me or if the game went longer, I have a Mirrodin Besieged, which the second mode of it allows me to win the game if I have 15 artifacts in my graveyard.
That's we'll get there, and then you can tell everyone, hey buddy, sorry, you're dead. You died last week actually, and we're just letting you know today.
Actually, you are already dead.
Yeah.
So I guess I managed to do what I wanted to. I got very far on limited resources. It was really fun.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time. This is another. I've loved every deck I've seen you bring to any of our tournaments. So congratulations on making it to the top 4. Really fun deck. Probably the fairest deck out of anybody we saw in the top 4. We are going to get Verez in here next, but do you have any closing thoughts for the people before we send you on your way?
I can't wait for the next Popper tournament to take that down. Jam, I'm coming for you.
Jam? Jam, you heard it here first. You're fucking cooked, buddy. You're cooked, Jam. I don't know if Jam is in here today, but thank you for playing. Really great to watch you, and have a good day, my man.
You too.
That is very funny to learn that he was, in fact, not being the adult of the table. Dude had no answers. Dude wasn't bringing the answers. Veras, good to see you, my friend. Really happy to see somebody just trying to run the fucking ones and twos on everybody with a Godot deck. So I guess one thing we can start with is, what kind of stuff were you sacrificing from a typical Godot list to make it fit into the budget?
So, first of all, the thing that make Godot affordable is that the lands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of basic land and bunch of cheap artifact, because the thing that make Godot good is fast mana, but I do not have any fast mana.
Mm-hmm.
So that I was jam all of artifact pennies in there, so hope for the best, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the first game you came very close to taking it. Oh, I did want to ask, from the first game, which ended up going to Duke, had you previously played against Chris? What was making you so aggressively go after Chris's permanents versus either Bright's or Duke's lands?
The thing that is, I miscalculated the lands.
Oh, yeah.
The Duke's land, yeah. I thought he has 6, not 7.
Mm-hmm.
In the next turn, so I just hammering down to Chris, throw him back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, he was the only person with a board state. So yeah, in the world of, we have one more turn cycle before they can try, that makes perfect sense. Was there, I guess, what was your favorite part of playing this type of deck in the tournament?
I mean, just making people worry about the time, because everyone is not new enough Godot, right? Not everyone knew Godot right off the bat, so yeah, it's fun to see everyone worrying about Godot.
You just like to see them sweat.
Yeah.
Want to put the fear into everyone.
Just having Godot there doing nothing, is having them fear is good, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Was there, when you signed up for the tournament, did you sign up for the tournament because you wanted to play Godot, or did you sign up for the tournament and then look around and decide we're gonna make Godot work?
The second one, I think, because first one I will play Kenan at first.
Kenan, okay.
Play test it with my friend. It seems slow. It doesn't have outlet to win.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I think, what if I do a turbo deck? And I mean, Godot is cheap and just 1 mana, doesn't have anything special, so yeah.
Yeah, it did seem like your deck was the most overall resilient. Like, they stopped you and you were still very much on a clock that was marching towards the win, even if you didn't have it in hand. Because anytime you got blown up, you still had all these lands, you still had all these mana rocks, where somebody like Duke, he would go for a win and he would sack half of his fucking land base to do it. Whereas you just got to be in a position of like, okay, well, 2 turns, it's coming again.
Yeah, that's why I play Godot, because I see other turbo deck like, I don't know, Magda or anything. It just seems too fragile because the counter rate gun it don't
Yeah.
be gun. If you play Godo, I mean, you can get a relative shift on Godo or exile the helm, but I still have others equipment to back it up. So yeah. And
Yeah, I mean
Godo
the Argentum
ships
armor
pretty
game
hard,
won.
man. Argentum armor is the best, man.
It's destroying 2 permanents a turn has never looked so scary until I saw it being done to people that had 3 lands apiece.
Yeah.
That really was pretty hilarious. All right, we're going to move on to Duke. Do you have any? Thank you very much for participating in this tournament. It was really fun to watch the Godo players, since you were so consistently doing so much for us to talk about and for me to sweat about. Do you have any closing thoughts for the people?
Red deck wins, I guess.
Red deck wins most of the time, everyone.
Most of the time. I mean, my turn to win is it got dazed by not Chris, by Brightness. So yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, Bright really fucking pulled it out those last 2 games. That nat 20 on the die was instrumental in him winning, I think. All right, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much for doing the interview, and thank you for participating in this tournament, and really good job, man. That's a lot of games to get to this point. So
thank you, man. Thank you for the hosting the tournament again.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. Yeah, man. So have a good one, and I hope to see you in the Modern tournament, which is coming up next, or the one after that if you don't play Modern.
Okay. See you.
See you. All right, guys. Moment we've been waiting for. We're gonna talk to this fucking Pentlaza player. We're gonna talk to Duke. For everybody else, the interview has been optional. It's mandatory for this guy. What's up, you piece of shit? What's up, you beautiful bastard? I love the deck that you brought. I looked at the list as everybody was taking their first turn, and I believe Twitch chat can confirm that I fucking screamed when I saw what you were playing and that it had made it to top 4. So first of all, congratulations, and congratulations on getting that win. I am over the moon that you won a game in Final Four with this deck. So first and foremost, why?
Well, this deck started as a first sliver Tybalt's Trickery deck.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find what I could spin into consistently with that, so I scrapped that, did Dimir Voltron, that turned into Gruul Control, and then we ended up here. I think I built this deck at very late at night, and I was like, oh god, these cards work, because I was just looking at, well, if I can't do Tybalt's Trigger, what can I do? And so I was looking at Pentlaza, and I'm like, this base is on toughness. I wonder if there was, because I was originally doing like a chain blink with like a Tally and Apex Devastator.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, wait, Barren Glory's a card. I wonder if, because I saw a blink spell that added toughness, or yeah, added power and toughness. And I'm like, wait, Pentlaza cares about power and toughness. I know Creative Techniques is a card because I've used it in different decks before. And I know Barren Glory, and then I've remembered Decree of Annihilation. And I'm like, wait, this works.
It's absolute chef's kiss. Also, I do want to circle back to the fact that you were just speed running all the villain shit imaginable. You're telling me the iterations this deck went through was a Tybalt combo, Dimir Voltron, Gruul Control. Was it Rurik, or was it a different Gruul Control?
No, it was the Gloomstalker and Street Urchin.
Oh my god.
So basically,
What
the
are you telling me
Gloomstalker
right
that
now?
is one of the background ones that has Death Touch. It's 3 Urchin says pay 1 sack an artifact or creature deal commander deals 1 damage to something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 Urchin, and then the Gloomstalker.
And then the Gloomstalker, and you just hate out everybody's board. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was gonna helm the Dimir Voltron list? Just so I know how to feel about
Ramsey's Assassin Lord.
You were gonna bring This is.
And he's the only creature in the deck. He's the only creature in the deck.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to speak for the entire rest of the tournament and say thank you for bringing the fucking Pentalaza deck instead of any of these other things you were cooking. But now I heard reports that you were gaslighting the lobby game 1 in order to get that first win attempt off. Can you speak to that?
So basically what happened is he blew up my first land that tapped for 2. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to be locked out of the game if he doesn't do anything. But that welding jar play, when he blew up when he tried to target the Urza's Battlethopter and he emery'd it back, I was saying like, oh, you got to kill this or it's never come back. Are you going to kill it again? Like, I'm not doing anything. I've just played lands and gotten my commander countered.
Mm-hmm.
So I was saying stuff like that and kind of hyping him up. And I'm like, I can't do anything to your board state. All I have in hand is lands. And
all I have in my deck is lands. More like all I have in all I have in my hand. Well, I mean, and to be fair, it did work out. We talked to Verez and he miscounted your mana, which was why he made the.
I also didn't add storage counters to it
until later. Yeah, until the end step before. So that was a very tactical move too, because I don't think, to the people in chat, it's not that they were like, oh yeah, he's clearly not doing anything. It was legitimately he slid under the radar because they did not account for his land base appropriately and thought they had one more turn. Yeah, so the play, like, they weren't about to be like, oh yeah, let's let him have commander mana. They were just like, oh, he doesn't have commander mana and we know he can't do anything else. And then he just, one more storage counter.
Yeah, and also what I had is I played the tapped sack land that taps for 2, the red one.
Yeah.
It's Bazaar, the Mountain Bazaar, or whatever that one is.
Mercadian.
But
oh no, that's a different.
Yeah, Mercadian Bazaar. And so I played that tapped as well. I said just tap land go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that one also can do stuff.
Yeah.
If my first storage land has gotten blown up. But I was reaching a critical point no matter what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the deck is Pantlaza. You blink it, it comes back. And
you
the
win.
big thing is choosing who to demonstrate the creative technique to. Because you can't do it to any blue players. And I actually had to do it to a Tulane player to win one of my games.
Right, because if they creative technique out a counterspell.
Yeah, then it shuts you down because it hits one of the 2.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right. Well, this is what a fucking funny deck.
I've mulliganed to 1 in round 6 and 1 with that.
I was told about that before I knew what you were playing. Because they talked about we talked about that in the player meeting this morning. As they were like, they fucking won on one card, and like at that point I knew it must have been a combo. Empyrean in chat is saying they won a game off of your demonstrate once. Do you remember that game?
They did. I demonstrated. So it was our first round. We were against 2 Zada players and Christoph.
Oh, okay.
And so I was going through it. He countered my Baron Glory, I think.
Got it.
One of them countered my Baron Glory or blew it up. Something like that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It got Chaos Warp back in the deck, and then it got countered on the way down. But my demonstrate spun into a storm count 4. What's the one that makes goblins? Name of it?
Empty the Warrens is
Empty the Warrens. So we spun into a storm count 4, Empty the Warrens.
Oh, and then the Zada player just blew them to hell. That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, me and Chris, the first 3 rounds were me, Chris, and other people. and which sucked because Chris shut me down all 3 games, or for my first 3. Because I explained my deck to him. I'm like, oh yeah, this is how you stop it. 'Cause
Hey, I'm about to hit you with the goofy
I
shit.
to show it off.
Yeah.
I'm about to hit goofy shit. But then he told, or like in the game, he's like, yeah, you have to hold up remover pent laws. This is how you stop it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And then we got paired 2 more times, and I'm like, dang it. And then I started picking up speed.
That is fucking hilarious.
The reactions to people when I win, when they don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like if you told me somebody's gonna make it a top 4 and take a game with a fucking Baron Glory strat,
yeah,
it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And there are definitely some upgrades I could make to this as well.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, this deck is $15 and then Cavern of Souls. So.
Oh my god, yeah. That'll do it. Yeah, so most of your budget.
I need to cut this. Is just I was bored and had nothing else to do with it.
Oh, one thing we did want to ask about. I think it was game 2 or game 3. You were mulliganing pretty hard. My guess was that you were mulliganing for these storage lands that converted to more than just one. Some people thought that you had gotten combo pieces in hand and needed to get them back into the deck. Can you tell us which of those it was?
Well, it's a combination of you need certain stuff. So if you're mulliganing past 6 and you get a combo piece, you can just put it to the bottom. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
What you mainly mullage for is the storage land and to have all your colors.
Yeah.
Like one of the hands, I got 7 planes.
Oh God.
And I'm just like, nope. And so I was just mulliganing aggressively, and I stopped with that hand, and I'm like, I have a storage land. I can keep going down. Like, I seriously considered keep going down, but I'm like, I have a storage land, and I have one of the tap lands that starts to charge up. I'll wait and do that. Also, Crystal Vein only works specifically. So Crystal Vein is the.
I have it pulled up. I have your list pulled up, and I'm kind of jumping through it as we talk.
So Crystal Vein only works with one other sack or tap for 2 land, and that's what I pulled in one of those hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's is it Tinder or something? I think.
Yeah, Tinder Farm. Yeah, that's add.
Tinder Farm. It's a land that taps for green, that sacks for blue and red.
Yeah.
Or red and white. And so you need Crystal Vein, red and white, and then a forest. And I had that in hand, and I'm like, all right, this is the one chance.
We're gonna
just turn 3. We're just gonna send it, and that's where I sacked 2 lands and sent it, and then got like.
And then got boofed. Yeah, we saw that, and we were like, oh, he's so fucked now. Oh God. Yeah. All his lands are gone. All right.
But yeah.
Fucking amazing.
There are some improvements that I can definitely make. Because, so, the deck is extremely fragile.
Mm-hmm.
So, the way removal can interact with it is Pantlaza, Discover Trigger. You have to wait until I target Pantlaza with Long Road Home.
Right.
Before then, you don't remove it, because Discover allows you to put it in hand.
Yeah.
If you don't cast it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to wait for it to target, and then do Pantlaza. But one thing that I talked to some people, and they said I could do is, like, I think it's Battlefield Forge and like Oran Reef, and then there's a Graft land that allow me to increase Pantlaza's toughness. That way I can hit creative if I've already burned my Long Road Home line.
Oh. That is a very clever idea.
It's not like I don't have the budget, because it's 15. And then cut the surveillance, because they're worse than anything, because I can't surveil a combo piece of the graveyard.
Yeah, surveil certainly doesn't matter for you. I mean, there's the outside. Right. There's the very outside shot of we don't have all our colors yet. We could surveil to them, but at that point you just mulligan anyway, right? Like you have the lands to. Oh, that's so.
Those are an easy cut.
Yeah.
But it was just like I was bored. But the deck is, even with all of like the taps for 2 lands, that's in all the forests and all the basics. That's $15. This deck is $15.
$15. That's amazing. Oh.
And I also had a $2 list that was debating bringing.
Mm-hmm. What was the?
And it was a
Pray tell.
NES Flyers.
Can you spell that for me?
It was NES the Gale Force. INNEAZ, I think. Or just Gale Force.
Yeah, I'm looking. IAZ.
So
Azorius. Yeah. Oh, Azorius Flyers. Yeah, hey. Hey, man, listen. God will judge you. God will judge you later. Even if I don't technically believe in him, he'll get you. The
$2.
Cheesy Pete's, man.
But I love how like everyone else showed up to this deck with like an official deck list that you would see in like a tournament or something, and then there's just me shucking for the fences.
Yeah, just like, hey,
and I'm just like, all right,
this'll work. hey man, this'll work. God, well,
and
thank
so
you.
I was surprised I got a singular win, but I am so happy.
You just kept slipping it through. Your deck seemed like it seemed like perfectly timed to somebody else would get bonked, and then you would just resolve Pentlaza, and not enough people were ready for like Pentlaza can't resolve, you guys. Guys, wait.
Yeah.
Pentlaza can't fucking resolve. Because we saw like Veraz's first go-to attempt get stuffed, and then as soon as you went for it, so I think everybody else was running much more telegraphed or well-known combos, and certainly this deck is telegraphed after you've been hit with it once, but before you've been hit with it, you're like, oh, what is this, some type of stupid dinosaur deck? And then everything fucking disappears, and Barren Glory's on the field.
That's how I won my game 6 as well.
Yeah.
That's how I won my games. Game, I think it was 5 or 6, depending on, we had that weird thing with round 7. But, I won that game because they're like, oh, dinosaurs, neat. And then ignored me for 3 turns, and everyone tapped out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, cast Pantlaza. And then people started going insane after they saw me reveal Barren Glory. And they're just like, wait, what?
It's such a fabulous way to end it. Okay, I think we're going to tie things up here. Do you have any closing thoughts for the people, Duke?
Have fun, build decks, and don't be afraid to play memes.
Don't be afraid to meme your way to literally victory. Not the top of top 4, but very, very close. Duke, thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much for bringing such a wonderful fucking meme. I will be making a video about either this tournament run or just this silly idea to begin with. So to everybody on stream, thank you all for coming and watching and supporting our tournaments. Our next tournament is going to be 60 card Modern. That is happening next month. The prospective dates are April the 27th and 28th. There will be more info to come in an announcement soon. Thank you to Norway Pete and Big Dubsy, our tournament TOs, and big thank you to the entire judge staff, helmed this tournament by Hell, Dova King, Miracle M, Solia. We have a list of like 9 people that I'm going to start forgetting. Those are the first names I remembered from the voice chat earlier. But a big thank you to every last one of our judges and our TOs, as this is entirely uncompensated. They are volunteering to do this because they like you guys so much and want to let you guys have real tournaments, and they know that if I try to run them myself, they will be a fucking disaster. So with that said, I hope you guys have had a good weekend. I hope this was entertaining, and I'll see you all tomorrow for an arena stream.